FM.
You got me losing my mind. My heart beats out of time. I'm seeing Hollywood stars. You strum me like a game.
Hey guys,
We come from the phone. Oke, assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming in my presentation. In this part, we want to discuss about history intercultural communication. I will say thank you for coming in our presentation. For the first, we will introduce our team. The first, I am as a moderator, Susanti, and then my friend, Rashida Jibangestu, and the last, my friend, Lupiana Tunisa. History in the cartoon communication. We will discuss four parts in this presentation. The first, from history to history. And the second, history, power, and intercultural communication. The third, history and identity. And the last, intercultural communication and history. Okay, the first, from history to history. We will discuss about political, intellectual, and social history. Political is written history that focus on political events. Intellectual, written histories that focus on the development of ideas. And the social, written history that focus on everyday life, experience, and various group in the past. Family histories occur at the same time as other histories, but on a more personal level. National histories give information or knowledge based on past events that influence a country development. Cultural group histories, the history of each cultural group within a national that includes, for example, the history of where the group originates and why the people migrate etc. History, power, and intercultural. Power is central dynamic in the writing history. It is influenced the context of history we know and the way it is delivered. Power detects that is talk and what is silence, what is available and what is erased. And then, third part, we will discuss the first, the power of the text, the power of other histories, and the power in intercultural interaction. Would discussed by my friend.
The power of text. History is extremely important in understanding identity. Think about all of the stories about the past that you have been taught. Yet, as literature professional Frederick Jameson
81.
notes, Untuk history is not a narrative at all. It is accessible to us only in intellectual narrative form. However, people do not have equal access to the writing and production of this text. The power of other history. We live in an era of rapid change, which causes us to rethink cultural structures and identities. It may be difficult for you to envision, but at one time, a unified story of humankind, the grand narrative, dominate how people talk of the past, present, and future. Grand narrative is a unified story and view of humankind. It refers to the overarching, all-encompassing story of a nation or humankind in general. Power in intercultural interaction. Power is also legacy, the remains of the history that live cultural group in multicultural position. We are not equal in our intercultural and so not can we ever be equal. Long history of imperialism, colonialism, exploitation, wars, genocide, and more leave cultural group out of balance when the communicate regards of whether we cause to recognize the foundation for many of our difference. These inequalities influence how we think about other and who we interaction with him. History and identity. History as stories, communication scholar Walter Fisher.
Communication and history. One way to understand specific relationship between communication and history is to examine the attitude and notion that individuals bring to an interaction. These are the antecedents of context. A second way is to look at the specific condition of the interaction and the role that history plays in this context. Finally, we can examine how various histories are negotiated in intercultural interaction, applying a dialectical perspective to these different histories. There is three. First, antecedents of contact. Second, the contact hypothesis. Third, negotiation histories dialectically in interaction. Next. Antecedents of contact. Social psychologist Richard Bislin 981 has identified four elements of personal histories that influence interaction. First, people bring childhood experience to interaction. For example, whose Judith and Thor grew up hearing negative comments about Catholics. As a result, our first interaction with adherents to despite their things with some suspicion. Following action. Precedence of contact. Social psychologist Richard Bislin 981 has identified four elements of personal histories that influence interaction. First, people bring childhood experience to interaction. For example, Boots, Judith, and Thor grew up hearing negative comments about Catholic. As a result, our first interaction with adherents to this fight were things with some suspicion. This personal history did not affect initial interaction with people of other religions. Second, people bring historical myths to interaction. These are myths with which many people are familiar. The Jewish conspiracy myths that Jewish people are secretly in control of UAS government and Muslims in one example. Third, the language that people speak influence their interaction. A language can be an interaction or a reply in intercultural interaction. For example, many people from the United States enjoy traveling in Britain because English is spoken there. However, the same people might have little desire or even be afraid to visit Russia simply because it is not an English-speaking country. Fourth, people tend to be affected by recent vivid events. For example, after the bombing of the World Trade Center in New York, interaction between Arab Americans and other U.S. residents were strongly characterized by suspicion, fear, and distrust. The media's treatment of such catastrophic events often creates barriers and reinforces stereotypes by blurring the stakes between Arabs, Persians, Muslims, and Palestinians. Perhaps recent history such as the racially motivated riots in Los Angeles in the mid-1990s are more influenced in our interaction than the hidden or past histories, such as the mass in 890 of some 260 Sioux Indians at Walnut Canyon in South Dakota, or the women's suffrage movement around the turn of the 23rd century. Next, the contact hypothesis. The 8 conditions are as follows. First, group members should be equal status, both within and outside the contact situation. Communication will occur more easily if there is no disparity between individuals in status characteristics. This condition does not include temporary inequality such as in student, teacher, or patient-doctor roles. Consider the implication of this condition for relations among various ethnic groups in United States. Second, strong normative and institutional support for the contact should be provided. This suggests that when individuals from different groups come together, positive outcomes do not happen by accident. Rather, institutional and programming is necessary. Examples include university support for contact between U.S. and international students or for contact among different cultural groups within the university and local community, support for integrating elementary and high school. Third, contact between the groups should be voluntary. This might seem to contradict the previous condition, but it doesn't. Although support must exist beyond the individual. Individuals need to feel that they have a choice in making contact. If they believe that they are being forced to interact, as with some diversity programs or affirmative action programs, the intercultural interaction is unlikely to have positive outcomes. Of course, the contact should have the potential to extend beyond the immediate situation and occur in a variety of contexts with a variety of individuals from all groups. This suggests that superficial contact between members of different groups is not likely to have much impact and activity or result in productive communication. For instance, simply sitting beside someone from another culture in a class or sharing food from different countries is not likely to result in genuine understanding of that person or appreciation for his or her culture. Next. Number 5, programs should maximize cooperation within groups and minimize competition. For example, bringing a diverse group of students together should not involve pitting the African American against the Arab American or sport teams. Instead, it might involve breeding diversity within teams to emphasize cooperation. Number 6, programs should equalize number of group members. Positive outcomes and successful communication will be more likely if members are represented in numerical equality. Research studies have shown that being in the numerical minority can cause stress and that the solo minority, particularly in beginning a new job, is subject to exaggerate expectation, very high or very low, and extreme evaluation. Number 7, group members should have similar to themselves. A right body of research supports the idea that people are attracted to those whom they perceive to be similar to themselves. This means that in bringing this group of people together, we should look for common ground, similarities based on religion, interest, competition, and so on. Number 8, programs should promote individuation of group members. This means that they should downplay the characteristics that mark the different groups. Instead, group members might focus on the characteristics that express individual personalities. Next. Negotiating stories dialectically in interaction. First, it is important to recognize that we all bring our own histories, some known, some hidden, to interaction. We can try to evaluate the role that history plays for those with whom we interact. Second, Communication Secular Marcia Houston 1997 says there are three things that with people who want to have friends.
Okay guys, this is the final of our presentation. Any question?
I want to ask, my name is Dianisa Prihatini, NPM 0040. My question is, what is personal history to intercultural interaction? Thank you.
I will answer their question. What is personal intercultural interaction? Okay. People bring four elements in personal history to intercultural interaction. One is childhood childhood experience. People bring childhood experience to interaction. For example, both Judith and Thor grew up hearing negative comments about Catholic. As a result, our first interaction with adherent to this fight were thing with some. The second, historical myth. People many bring historical myth to interaction. There are myths with which many people are familiar. The Jewish conspiracy myth that Jewish people are secretly in control of U.S. government and business is one example. The third is language competence. The language that people speak influence the interaction. Language can be an attention or a place in intercultural interaction. For example, many people from the United States enjoy traveling in Britain because English is spoken there. The last, memories of recent political events. People tend to be affected by recent vivid event. For example, after the bombing of the World Trade Center in New York, interaction between Arab American and of the US relationships were strained, characterized by suspicion, fear, and distrust. Okay, are you understand?
My name is Tiffany Sumeksi NBM 0012. What is contact between the group so people thank you?
I want to answer the question from Tita. Contact between the group should be voluntary. This might seem to contradict the previous condition, but it doesn't. On top, support must exist beyond the individual need to feel that they have a choice and making contact. If they believe that they are being forced to interact as with some diversity program or affirmative action program, the intercultural interaction is unlikely to have positive outcome. For example, an air traffic control persuasion by a recruit diversity program exercise on gender difference that issues the Department of Transportation for 300,000 and had 1994. A better program design would be to involve all participants from the beginning. This can be done by showing the benefit of an inclusive diversity policy. One that values and kind of diversity, and not merely that based on gender, for example. Equally important is the mounting evidence of bottom line benefit of diverse personnel who work well together. Thank you.
Okay guys, thank you for your attention. Bila bisa pilih hafaz tapi kulairat. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here, you can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that could go to space. With the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm happy. Clap along. happiness is you. Hey, hey. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Come on.
Okay. Maybe this is the day that I have to write a song about love. It's about time. I said I'd never write a song about love, but when it feels this good, a song fits like a glove. When you hold me and you tell me that you missed me and call me Milky, fuck it, I'ma write a song about love, yeah. You're my key, you unlock me, keep me close, keep me safe, keep me happy, so sweet, oh love. It's destiny, so nothing stops me. I'll tell the world that you're mine and you got me, so sweet, oh love. I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love. See, love doesn't choose a boy or a girl. Nope. When I met you, you hugged my heart and filled my world. Easy. So you can stare